Hi friends, this is called Punpiso. I'm going to present some truth that seems like everyone ignores. And again, for the umpteenth time, we create thoughts with our brains. When the brain malfunctions, it accepts bizarre mathematical beliefs in all religions, at the core of all religions and religious faith, as if were true. Just as in the schizophrenias, the many schizophrenias. Schizophrenia is just not one, it's just a word created by a German scientist 60, 70 years ago, well back. The schizo, divided, split, and phrenus, the brain. And it's just a word. In other words, you can call them people that believe in God. They're actually nuts. They're crazy people. They're dysfunctional, especially if they are educated. If you're educated, you can tell between fact and fiction. The problem is that all religious fantasies, created, Christianity is a mental illness, is a psychosis. It's been with us with 1,500 years. Molded by the church controlled everything since the 4th century. Everything was controlled. Education was controlled. The stagnation of the intellect. There was all this God belief that saved with blood at the center of Christianity. And the problem is that Christians are extremely ignorant people. They're superstitious. They suffer from depression. And they're dumb. They don't understand what Christianity means. They read the Bible. The Bible is a book of mythologies. The Bible, the Quran, all the religious texts are no different than the Lord of the Rings. No different than the mythologies. Greek mythologies and all that. And all these fairy tales come from the Greek mythologies, from ancient times. And the problem today is they cannot take the Greek mythologies and all the mythologies and see the Bible as a mythology, not as a book of facts. And these crazy people are taking all these things as books of facts, and the Bible is full of pedophilia, sadomasochism, ignorance, deluded concepts, and the crazy full of books. And of course, everybody, if you say all this bullshit, they should learn about the brain. That's what we create thoughts with. We should be taught children about the brain. And this is the problem in the United States of America, an infected country with psychosis, and it's because of all the problems we have. See, the only time that you have progress and you learn things and when you can tell between fantasy and reality is when you are sane, you are mentally healthy and educated. Then you are an atheist. If you believe in gods and spirits and you're superstitious and all that, and angels and demonic possession and resurrecting something that's saved with blood, you are theo-tarded. Theo means God, and tardy or late means late, and it was behind. In other words, it's similar to being retarded. There's some people are born with deficiencies in the brain, and they're completely retarded in that sense, mentally handicapped. But in the Christianity, it's just they have this fantasy. They cannot tell between fantasy and reality, even though, despite intelligence. They're like savants, and they are actually theo-tarded. Here are some examples. We're going to have... This is August the 4th, 2012. Monday, the Curiosity, the probe is landing in Mars from NASA. And the reason of all this intellectual prowess is atheism, mentally healthy. You cannot be a scientist and make all these fantastic things and probes and technology, which should have been happening 1,000 years ago if it wasn't with the Christian mental disorder. If we didn't have Christianity, we would have been in the moon. Humanity would have been 1,000 years ago. But the Christianity impedes the intellect. It keeps, every time they don't understand something, they say God did it, or the zombie did it, or the Mahoma did it, or some crap like that. And they keep stimulating the children's intellect. And this is the problem in the United States of America. Children, they're stagnated their leg with this Christian crap, especially in churches. All this should be shut down. Do you think any scientists come out of Brigham Young University believing in all this crap of golden plates and Moroni and magic stones and the planet club and magic underwear and crap like that from the 1820s? product of Joseph Smith that took one Amanita muscaria too many? No, you know, and the same thing with all the Catholic things, you know, Catholic universities, Liberty University, the Baptist University, all these Methodist universities, they're like over 200. These people are completely theotarded. They're stuck in the past. They believe in imaginary zombies. This is the problem in the United States of America. And it caused genocide, it caused shootings. Because the moment you believe in Christ, you believe in aliens, you believe in spirits, you believe that you are the Joker and you kill people. Because you're brought up in Christian parents. All these people are brought in Christian families. And that's the problem. But here are some clips that makes my point. Especially in Syria. You know the problem in Syria? Now with all these massacres? Well, what happened is it's a result of the Crusades. People don't understand that. The piece of shit theocratic Crusades in the 11th century by Pope Urban II going to places that don't belong for 250 years. And they conquer all the cities. And Aleppo was a Christian city, practically. And then they were kicked out. The Muslims came around, they conquered. And it's a big, long story. But see, it's all come from the Crusades. So Bashar al-Assad, they are Christian pieces of shit. You know, his wife is from London, Christian. And 20% of the people are Christians. The rest are Islam. And that is the reason they're killing them. The Christians are just using their old Crusader techniques and killing all these people. That's the problem in Syria. It's Christian pieces of shit against the Islam psychotics. Same thing. It's a mental illness. Whatever, if you believe in God, you're a theotard, you're mentally ill, you have a problem with your brain, you suffer from a form of schizophrenia. We don't need this nonsense in the 21st century. That's the problem that we have in the country. Especially when the country is infected with imbeciles, Christian imbeciles, the majority are in Congress, and some in the Supreme Court. And nobody questions the mental health of these people. Before you join Congress, question, examine the brain of these Christ-psychotic infected imbeciles in Congress. We don't need these nuts in Congress. Like you don't need a nut flying a plane, being a pilot. You cannot even drink alcohol. So these morons, their brains are malfunctioning, they are allowed to be congressmen, senators, Supreme Court judges. Anyway, here are some clips.
Views, and we're just agreeing with them today.
Marriage is between a man and a woman. That's the way God ordained it, and it has never changed down through the ages. The word of God never changed. It's the
that Christ who redeems us also gives us the power to change. And every one of us as sinners has things we desperately need to change.
Schizophrenic asshole.
Persons who want to change, I'm confident as a Christian that Christ gives us the power to change.
Asshole.
Talking about sexuality, but anything.
See how sick this Christ-psychotic infected imbecile is? Hey, I can make him change. Let me give him a little of the Datura flowers and Amanita muscaria. He'll change. Oh, let me give him, a little LSD or ciprasidone. Zoloft as one of those medicals for to treat schizophrenics. He'll change. He won't even know who Christ is. He'll probably get too horny and mess around with a guy. See how stupid this imbecile is? He doesn't realize this imbecile. It's just the people are so dumb stupid. These Christians are ignoramuses and sick and dumb. Don't realize that they are product of a fuck? They were born without even speaking. They didn't even see. Their eyes were open. They couldn't even see shit when they're a little baby. The brains were like the blind computers. Was he born with a believing God and crap like that? No, he got it from his parents because his brain was too weak. Couldn't tell fact from fiction. And he loved the fairy tales of Christianity and all that shit. And he became a Christian, despite he could have had an PhD or anything like that, and still be a stupid, imbecile, theotard moron. This is the problem with the United States of America. They have no idea they're creating all the thoughts with the mind, not the ass. This is the problem. This guy's schizophrenic. He's sick. You know what happens when they're full-blown and they think that the eyes are seeing evil? Check this out. You can rip your eyes in church. Christianity can make the eyes malfunction and see demons and things due to the schizophrenia-like disease, and then all of a sudden rip them off in church. In October 2011, a man, a pious, devoted Christian, went to a church in Viareggio, Italy, and he gouge his own eyes during Sunday Mass in church. That's Christ psychosis. And he act normal, just like the shooter in Colorado in the theater, when all the shooters. But then, hey, you know, Christ psychosis, religious beliefs like an HIV positive people. They look normal, but you never know when it's going to become full-blown. See, all religions are a mental illness. They are no different than schizophrenia, or schizophrenias, the many schizophrenias they are. No difference. It's just that people don't call this a schizophrenia type that mostly everybody has. As long as you believe in a God, you're sane. But if you believe in aliens and brain implants or something like that, or you're Napoleon, or you have the spirit of Alexander the Great or something like that inside of you, then you act upon all these beliefs, then they think that you're crazy. And there's no difference. There's no maybe between the schizophrenic metamagical belief, or the bizarre metamagical belief of the schizophrenic, and those in religious beliefs of faith. It's a psychosis. People don't realize that. And it's like HIV positive. You know, you still have the virus, and it can become full-blown any time. If you're a Christian, you go to church and behave normal, like the Colorado shooter, like all the shooters. You know, they behave normal, and the pastors that, you know, take everybody to Guyana, and all of a sudden 900 people die. See? And, well, it's an Adventist. You know, and then Correction, the same thing. But they're time bombs. All of a sudden, you never know, and all of a sudden they blow up. And that's what happened to this guy that took his eyes out in church. You know, the Sandra Yates, the Christian piece of shit woman that drowned her 5 children. It's no difference. You know, if you believe in God, you're a theotard, you have a problem with your brain, you better go see a neurologist. And you don't belong in government.
That was January 25, says the station manager.
Islam psychosis.
Egypt should be better. It should be voices like hers. She warns of giving too much freedom to others.
Well, you know, Islam psychotics, there are many variations, and they cover themselves all that like a Virgin Marys and crap like that. They all come from the Roman Empire. Covering, you know, a trap in the air, and then you don't, and they're all anti-sex. They're psychotic people. In this 21st century, we know that we create the mind with our brains. And when they malfunction, you start having all these bizarre mythological beliefs of God and angels and demons and crap like that, and jinn and all this shit. These people are sick people. And they are no different than schizophrenia, and they should be treated as such. And you can see that also what's happening in Syria, in Aleppo, and all these places. You know, the Christian, you know, because the Christian crusaders, you know, they intermarry with the Muslims and the traders and the Jews and all that, but they start controlling the population, and then the Arabs kick them out, and then the Crusader, and then later on they invaded the cities again, and they already were Christian psychotics over there. And now they're, you know, trying to kill the Muslims and killing them and destroy them. And this is the problem you see in Aleppo. The same thing had happened in the Balkans wars. When Clinton was president, and all the Milosevic and all the Serbian Christian pieces of shit, the Nazis, they were actually putting people in concentration camp. All the Muslims, they were kicking them out, and the American West did nothing until Clinton finally did something. Have you noticed that the United States does nothing in Syria? Why? Because United States, France, and all these countries are Christianity infected imbeciles, and the ones that have been killed, women and children, all that, are Muslims. It's like when the Jews were being cremated and destroyed by Christian Hitler. The Americans did nothing. World War II, they knew about it. And after they won the war, the CIA used all the Gestapo officers, and they went to Argentina. They did nothing to it because of the Christian pieces of shit nations like the United States. They were in control. They did nothing. Even the American helmets are like the Nazi helmets. Have you noticed that? The New Crusaders with the fucking piece of shit Bibles going over there and trying to convert people. They're despicable. Despicable people. They're racist, pedophile, imbecile. These Christians are pieces of shit. And I detest them because they're mentally ill. They have this problem in the brain. They're trying to shove their goddamn garbage to everybody else. Keep their infection, your HIV cancer to yourself, pieces of shit. And that's what they should be. And they really piss me off because they are the cause of all these problems. And you have all the churches in the United States that cause racism. This GOP and this Tea Party are racist pieces of shit. like the Boy Scouts of America, old Nazi lovers, you know, of the KKK and all that. But people don't know that. They don't teach children that, and they infect the mind of children with their religious garbage. And you know that the majority of these people, these magazines, you know who they own them? They're owned by Christians. A lot of Christians that own all these magazines all over it because they are Christian newspapers, just like a Fox, like 4 News. They give us all this garbage and lies all the time. All the Christians love Fox News. They're liars, like Phelps and Bachman and all these morons. And this is the problem. They don't see it here.
Pinehaven Christian Children's Ranch is located. It's been run by an 82-year-old preacher.
Was it troubled kids, or were you kids with troubled parents? Are you having fun?
And Bob Larson is blunt. Any kid aboard.
The Exorcist.
You try to teach.
Well, that God loves them. And God did everything. He's the ruler of the universe. He made man, he made the world, he made the rules.
More now of our special report, Ungodly Discipline. Let's go back.
Bob Larson is a Christian preacher and founder of the Pinehaven Christian Children's Ranch in North.
This is a Christian program. I do believe in God. I believe Jesus is the Son of God, and the Bible is the Word of God. And
Satan is behind the more than 12 former students or teachers we've talked to who've alleged physical abuse.
And he was perfect. And I know I'm not perfect. And to have this happen.
One of the men accused ranch. It is unregulated, unlicensed, unaccredited. Its teachers are uncertified by the state of Montana. Pinehaven oversees Pinehaven.
That the teachers are good, your counselors are good, and your kids behave.
I am.
Larson said,
I've never told anybody that.
and Dare, who says he was also raped by a Pinehaven student.
They started.
Investigated abuse allegations.
Christian! These are all Christian people.
But the case files indicate only one alleged victim was interviewed.
See that? These are all Christian people.
Who was
Fucking idiots.
after the case was closed.
The United States is a Christianity-infected nation. What do you expect? These fucking assholes, they're all Christians.
Out there
Imbeciles.
that may or may not have.
Who are mentally healthy atheists. This would not happen.
What would be wrong
Imbeciles.
with the state of Montana?
It would be unconstitutional.
See that?
But do you see it would make up some parents knowing that
Don't
there's
send their kids somewhere else.
See
Not
that?
send them here.
See that?
well, more important. 5 counties in Illinois and Montana's Pinehaven Christian Children's Ranch. Pinehaven steered there all by the same truant officer.
She says one day a truant officer from her town made a trip to that behavioral center to visit Cassie.
See? Christian.
And recommended
He called me, she was crying, she said, Mommy, she says, I just made a mistake.
These are the piece of
100 miles
shit
rural North
Christian
Montana.
assholes in this country.
Christian Children's Ranch.
That's the problem.
That's where we met her.
Asshole Christians. That's because of all the problems in this country.
And the founder of Pinehaven.
Pieces of shit like him.
The biggest reasons the kids come are, and they didn't have the normal home background.
Yeah, assholes. So you put them in
And
Christian
a mom.
shit.
And
Here's that psychotic, cry-psychotic piece of shit of Bob Larson exorcising demons over 10 years ago. Check him out. Asshole. He doesn't even pay taxes.
Jesus is in your joy, the devil is in your pain.
In the name of Jesus Christ, go down.
For Jeanette Mata,
Down.
those demons are all too real.
Look at this idiot.
Coming down her house.
Oh, yeah.
The Romans came and set our houses on
The Romans?
Oh my God.
You're retarded. You're still living in the Middle
You're sending my daughter away.
Yeah.
Send her close to me. Don't
Because the
send her to
judges are Christian pieces of shit.
across the country.
That's the reason in this country. The psychotic imbeciles.
Papers.
The judges are Christians. That's the problem.
It's a binding
Those
contract.
are pieces of shit that believe in resurrecting zombies. Crazy people.
Is the truant
is to get kids that are missing school back in school.
See?
And then intervene with
Ask.
services.
What religion is this piece of shit
Duke's idea
brought out
to
under?
go to Pinehaven. He also considers its founder, Bob Larson, a surrogate father.
See that?
And then the street comes close to Pinehaven.
Look at this schizophrenic look on this piece of shit.
The county area is very 29 children who over the years have been sent from this region to Montana's Pinehaven Christian Children's Ranch. To Pinehaven. And Charlie Duke gets the approval of
See that?
to a facility with abuse
Look at this Christian piece of shit.
employees without any.
I personally know teachers
See
that
that?
are there
Look at that.
are so annoying.
Okay, but they're in Montana.
Christian.
Point being,
Look at
that
his
they're
asshole.
troubled
Look at
and
his
they need
looks.
counseling. There's no one.
Christian asshole.
I believe when they have a nuclear family structure.
I understand
All
that
these
that's-
guys are brought up in a Christianity-infected homes. It's like a schizophrenia. And they condition the children. They cannot get rid of the fantasies. Like this piece of shit of the Family Research Council, just like Nazis. All Christianity-infected people. Look at this piece of shit. Also Christian. They're all brought up with their little babies in Christianity-infected home. Look at those eyes. It's schizophrenia. It's just Christ psychosis. And this guy here with this book, though, the same thing. They look at those eyes. They are people that are stuck in the Middle Ages. They have a problem with the brain. This guy is a schizophrenic from Ramachandran videos, just like the shooter in
servant here in Illinois. You operate by rules and regulations of the state.
Yeah, Christian.
You should have licensed counselors at Pine Haven.
Something that
you can say yes or no.
I'm not.
Well, you can say yes or no, or you don't know.
See? Christian.
Okay, I don't.
And this is only one out of thousands and thousands of examples. Gary Tuchman of CNN, investigative reporter, he is amazing. The guy is brilliant. Brilliant. He just goes away and digs and digs and digs. He's the one that the Mormons and all, FLDS and all this stuff. But here's a challenge. Why don't Gary Tuchman, Anderson Cooper, he's brilliant, he's very smart. Why don't you guys go to Notre Dame University and to the different churches and ask them about their religion, what their beliefs are? Go to the Mormon University at Brigham Young and go to the religious classes and go over there and ask them about Joseph Smith and exactly what do they believe. Not a faith and no, just say, don't you believe in Nigel Moore and I that come over with the, what kind of stones did they bring you to get those plates? And what happened to the plates? And do you believe in the planet Kolub that everybody, and of course you baptize the dead people and the Jews and all that 24 hours a day? And they had a program and they were talking about baptizing, but they left it at that. It's just a faith, and they didn't went right into it. No, just dig and drill about the psychopathy of this Christ-psychotic infected imbecile. Think about it. Go to the churches and go to the bishop, and when they are in a ceremony and saying the mass, as well. Do you believe this actually when you do the ceremony and all that, that is a Jesus Christ? And who was Jesus Christ? He actually resurrected? Was he born of a virgin? And do you believe that the Catholics do? because I was brought up in Catholic crap, psychosis. I know about this stuff. If you're a Catholic, you have to believe that this, in the moment that you recite the Eucharist, the wafer turns into the flesh and blood of Christ. I mean, not metaphorically, exact. Some kid over there in California, they stole the Eucharist because he wanted to have it tested to see if it was actually blood in it. And then the wine, the body, the flesh, and then the wine is the body. So ask him all these questions. If you go to a Hindu temple, and Gary Tuchman is talking about the goddess Ganesha and the gods and with all the hands, and they come around and stuff like that. Ask these people about it. And then go to a mental institution, go to an aside, and talk to a schizophrenic, intellectual ones, because there's a lot of them like that. They're committed, but they have these beliefs, and they appear normal, but when they come around with the aliens and the brain implants and the devices, and they explain to you that they have them in there. And if you can touch them and all that stuff, you can operate them, they will implode or something happens to them, so they cannot allow you to do that. But they will go into detail about this stuff, just like conspiracy theories. Come on, compare them. That's what Gary Tuchman ought to do next. Go to a mental institution, go to see the schizophrenia people, and then compare between the religious and the schizophrenics. Oh, man. It will expose all of them, religious beliefs, and mentally dysfunctional people. If you believe in God, you're a theotard in this 21st century. The brain is creating those delusions when it malfunctions. Just take a chemical and give an injection operation on the locus coeruleus and the hypothalamus. Just a brain operation will prove my point. That's it. A lobotomy will cure Christianity or any believing God. Give a lobotomy to these imbeciles, they're screwing up the country and screwing up the world, and then no more believing God. That's what you ought to do. If you're a Christian, get a lobotomy. Get saved. Help all of us. We don't have to put up with the lunatics anymore.
Demons can influence us.
There's no such a thing as demons, retard. It's like we need
the
to prove.
practice of casting out demons back to Jesus.
God, people are nuts.
If you read the first account in the Gospel of Mark of an exorcism, is when Jesus is in a synagogue.
So what happens when you reject the bullshit of religious psychosis or conspiracy theories or crap like that, and you demand evidence. And you verify the bullshit to see if it's true or not. And you're a skeptic. You know what that means? That means that you are mentally healthy. In other words, you're an atheist. A without no, theos, God believe, resurrected zombie, you know, angel, demon, whatever crap like that. That's what Dios means. This Dios means this bullshit, paranormal crap of God and shit like that. So A is without, and theos and theism, all that is God and bullshit like that. In other words, no bullshit. In other words, when you're an atheist, you don't believe in bullshit, which means if you don't believe in bullshit, you are mentally healthy. Your brain is functioning correctly. You're not like a little retarded kids that believe in Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Santa Claus when they're 4, which is normal because they're young. But when you're an adult and you believe in resurrecting zombies that say with blood and demons, demonic possession, speaking in tongues and resurrection and God that saves and talking snakes and paradise and heaven and life after death and crap like that, then you are you're a theotard. You're ignorant. You're stupid, and you're infected when you have a neurological malfunction, just exactly the same like schizophrenics. And interesting, Christianity, this is schizophrenia belief, for 1,500 years have been stagnating the intellect of people, keeping people retarded, the children, because the parents will teach them, and they control the government, they control the schools for 1,500 years. And it's still today. We have churches today. They should be all shut down. They're teachers of lies and fairy tales and more lies. There's no morality in what they teach. Nothing. These kids their minds are getting stagnated, and all that every Sunday in church. They have no really scientific belief. They are being taught fairy tales. And they're beautiful, and they just enjoy the fairy tales. Oh yeah, and the Jesus, and the saint did this, and Joshua this, and he whipped the enemies. But they don't know about the Bible, because the Bible is full of psychopathies. It's like Greek mythology. They have pedophiles, and they have homosexuality, they have all this, and there's intolerance and crap like that, racism, all this shit, all these stories. All in the Bible. And they're interpreted in many ways. There's no one Bible. There's thousands of them. Like any religious text. They're crap. They're dysfunctional. They are disgusting immoralities corrupting the mind of children. Now, the only time you can be a scientist is when you get rid of the fairy tales. And the problem is the government has been controlled by these lunatics for 1,500 years. The church controlled the government, so you could not even say anything. They're burning you at the stake. If you're trying to practice science, that stagnated the intellect. That's the reason why I say, if there was no Christianity 1,500 years ago and all that stuff, and we'll continue the paganism, the many gods and all that stuff, they advanced the intellect, there was a lot of tolerance, we would have been in the moon and conquered a lot of diseases. 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago. The Romans and Greeks were extremely advanced with mathematics 2,000 years ago. All that was destroyed by the Christian pieces of shit. The stagnated. And they still stagnated the intellect. Look at Bachman and morons like that. So this is the problem. So the reason of this great event of Mars, Curiosity, landing is thanks to atheism. That was mental health that actually could understand the science and do experimentations and forge ahead. So, believing God screws up the intellect and make people retarded, screw up their brains. So, thanks to atheism, mental health, that's the reason that the NASA is doing what he's doing, this greatest scientists. And they're all atheists, like Dr. Krauss and Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Dr. Kaku and all these brilliant minds. They're mentally healthy. Atheists, they don't believe all that garbage of stupid. That's for stupid people. And they shouldn't be taught in school this garbage. You have a license in university that teaches all this Christian crap. Bring up young universities should be shut down. There's no reason for the retards to if they teach the mythologies as mythologists, it's fine. You know, but you start teaching like Lord of the Rings is true, then you have a problem. Like Santa is true and Mickey Mouse exists and all this shit like that, then you have a problem. And that's why you should be prevented. Check this out. Mental health of atheism exposed right here.
So you could probably go a lot longer with it.
The nuclear power will last 50 years at least, and so...
And you got to be excited, you got to be nervous right about
both
now.
of those things, everyone on the team, yes.
Well, I was ready to put this, upload this YouTube video, but guess what? Another shooting. Psychosis. This religion is religious psychosis began for 500 years. Let's start shooting in a temple. Religious belief are a mental illness. Nobody's born believing. Proving my point. And tomorrow the comet, the Mars Curiosity lander lands. Thanks to atheism. Mentally healthy. When you have a mentally healthy brain, an educator, and a scientist, then you can do great things. But there is a shooting again. Religious beliefs are a mental illness, not even in this 21st century. And this makes my point. Take all these religious people and put them in a mental institution, all of them. Temples and churches and synagogues and mosques. All these people all this should be shut down. And all the people that believe in God and things like that should be put in a hospital and treated like people suffering from depression, schizophrenia, temporal lobe epilepsy, or dementia, or anything like that. Believing God is a disorder, is a mental, is a psychopathy, is very dangerous because it creates all the shootings and all that crap like that. So there you have it. There's some clips. Just heard about this shooting in the Sikh temple.
To get the Sikh big truth to share with you, but
yeah, the brain creates all this bullshit. Idiots.
We don't know who did it. SWAT teams that are certainly on the ground right now, so that's what you're watching unfold right now.
Yes, a mentally healthy, in other words, an atheist team. All the best to curiosity and exploration, thanks to atheism. And let's cure the psychosis, cancer of the brain that stagnates the intellect. Let's put people, let's cure them. All the Christian United States, revamp the Constitutional Convention, get rid of these people and put them in mental institutions and just have intellectuals, mentally healthy, sane, in other words, atheists, people in government running the country. That's what we ought to do to save humanity. Pace Dios.